All right, I want to thank everyone for coming to FreedomFest and coming to the Libertarian Party's presentation. Freedom is a great cause and it needs a lot of help. My name is Wes Benedict. I'm the Executive Director of the Libertarian Party. Our first speaker is going to be Mark Hinkle. He's my boss, but I love him anyway. He's the chairman of the Libertarian National Committee. He was elected chairman to the Libertarian Party in 2010 at our convention in St. Louis. He served for many years as the chair of the Libertarian Party of California. During that time, he tripled the membership. He increased the number of elected libertarians. He raised a lot of money. I think he tripled the amount of revenue that the Libertarian Party of California raised. And he raised enough money to hire an executive director and open an office. He's done just about every imaginable job as a volunteer for the Libertarian Party. And I hope it didn't take too much of your own introduction, but at this point, I'll just go ahead and turn it over to Mark Hinkle. Mark?
Good morning, and again, thanks for coming to FreedomFest. Thanks for caring about the idea of freedom. It's obviously a critical issue today, and one of the things that I find very encouraging is that more and more people are realizing that the same old is not working. That the same old pablum that we've gotten from the Republicans and Democrats just isn't washing. Clearly, they've demonstrated they do not know how to run the economy, and I think the ideas of free markets clearly are coming into its ascendancy, and I think it's very advantageous that we have this Freedom Fest, and we're delighted to be here. I've been told in speaking terms that it's always good to kind of open up with a humorous remark and a joke about the topic of the day. And since there's some new folks in here, probably haven't heard these old jokes, but you know the old jokes about the light bulb jokes. And there's actually a couple of libertarian light bulb jokes. The one I first heard was, how many libertarians does it take to screw in a light bulb? The first answer is none. The free market will take care of it. And the second, for people who are enmeshed in the Libertarian Party politics, is a second response, and that is 4. A committee of 3 to decide whether it should turn to the right or the left. But anyhow, the Libertarian Party, as you probably know, is started back in 1971, so we're actually approaching our 40th anniversary, which, by the way, we're actually going to hold here in Las Vegas at the Red Rock Casino. That'll be December 11th. And so anybody who's local and want to come to be part of that celebration, we very much welcome you to do that. It also is going to be a memorial service for David Nolan. For those who don't know, David Nolan was one of the co-founders of the Libertarian Party, and he passed away very unexpectedly last year. And so we're going to have a celebration of his life as part of the 40th anniversary of the Libertarian Party. So the Libertarian Party, you know, the case for the Libertarian Party. Why do we exist? What can we bring to the table? And throughout the long history of the Libertarian Party, you say we're approaching our 40th anniversary. A lot of offshoots from the Libertarian Party have occurred because of the existence of the Libertarian Party. Just to give you an example, I first voted for John Hospers, who was our very first presidential candidate back in 1972. He was on the ballot in a whopping 2 states, but it was an auspicious start because we literally started the year before. And in California, he received 2,000 write-in votes because he wasn't even in the ballot in California. And so we grew from there. Roger McBride, in the next election cycle, was our presidential candidate. And he became known to libertarian circles because during the 1972 elections, he cast the very first vote for a libertarian candidate. And this is an interesting footnote in history. A lot of people think Geraldine Ferraro is the first woman to receive an electoral college vote, but it turns out it was actually the Libertarian candidate, Tony Nathan, who was John Hosper's vice presidential candidate in 1972. So a little footnote in history there. So from there, the Libertarian Party grew. I joined the Libertarian Party in 1974, and the guy who signed my lifetime membership card was a guy by the name of Ed Crane. And anybody in the freedom movement probably knows that Ed Crane went on to found the Cato Institute. And I bring that up because not only did the Cato Institute kind of grow out of the Libertarian Party and the Libertarian movement, but a lot of think tanks and a lot of other libertarian-related organizations like the Institute for Justice, the Advocates for Self-Government, who have a booth here. In fact, I think the Institute for Justice also has a booth. Heartland Institute, which is also here, and many other organizations. In fact, if you go to our website, under action and look down on the Liberty links, you'll see a whole slew of organizations that came out of the Libertarian movement and definitely augment the movement that we're in. But the Libertarian Party has a very unique position in the Libertarian movement. We are involved solely in politics. And as you well know, we, as Judge Andrew Napolitano said, we really have a one-party system today. We have two wings of that one-party system, the big government Republicans and the big government Democrats. And that's why there is a legitimate alternative out there, the Libertarian Party. And for those of you who think that we should have our government bound by constitutional boundaries, I think the Libertarian Party is the only political party out there for you. If you are somebody who is socially tolerant, fiscally responsible, and believe in a non-interventionist foreign policy, I think the Libertarian Party, again, is your only real option here. And even though the Libertarian Party is a third party who's been around for many years, a lot of people wonder what's going to happen with the Libertarian Party, what's happening with the Libertarian movement. We're not going away. In fact, the Libertarian Party National Committee actually authorized a building fund, so we're actually pursuing building a building, or creating a building or buying a building somewhere in the DC area, akin to what Cato did, to basically establish a beachhead in the belly of the beast, so that we are going to be there permanently to take on the Republicans and Democrats in Congress and to establish a foothold, a beachhold, if you will, in the belly of the beast. So we're very encouraged about that, and part of the reason why we came here to FreedomFest is, of course, to reach out to you folks and to major donors to realize and to let you know that the Libertarian Party is here to stay, and we think it's a viable option for you. And we hope that you will support the Libertarian Party, become part of its movement. Over the years, we have faced monumental hurdles, and as you probably would guess, Republicans, Democrats are not terribly friendly to libertarians. And one of the major battles that we face every election cycle is ballot access laws. They put substantial hurdles in front of us, and yet, with shoestring budgets, 3 times we've managed to put a presidential candidate on the ballot in all 50 states, plus DC, 3 times. We've also managed 5 times to run congressional candidates that cumulatively have attained over 1 million votes. No other political party, probably since the foundation of the Republican Party in the 1800s, has managed to do that. So we are here to stay on a shoestring budget. We've actually accomplished a considerable amount of progress. We've run thousands of candidates over the years. We have managed to get people elected to the state legislature. We haven't yet managed to get libertarians elected as libertarians in Congress. Of course, everybody's well aware of Ron Paul being in Congress. And by the way, he remains a lifetime member of the Libertarian Party. For those who don't know, he ran as our candidate in 1988. And we wish him well in the elections. And if it doesn't pan out that he makes it through the Republican primary, I know he'd be more than welcome in the Libertarian Party. And likewise with Gary Johnson. I actually rode on the bus with him last night and asked him what it would take to have him run as a Libertarian. And he's being pretty cagey. He doesn't want to admit that he would like to run, but he calls himself a Libertarian, and I think that's very encouraging. So whether he winds up being our candidate, or Ron Paul winds up being our candidate, or somebody else, I think it's very clear that the weather vanes of freedom are pointing in our direction, and I think it's very critical that we reach out to lots of groups in the Libertarian movement, in the freedom movement, to bring them into our fold and to work together. I'd like to briefly tell you about a little story about working with other groups, and one of the reasons why I ran as national chair is for the Libertarian Party, instead of being isolated just within our own circles, is to actually reach out to other groups. So a couple of years ago, I got involved in California with the California Civil Rights Alliance. This is a group made up predominantly of Muslims who were very concerned about the Patriot Act, because of course they were sort of the object of the Patriot Act. And working together with the Muslims, with the Archdiocese of San Francisco, with the Mexican-American Political Association, with labor groups, with Green Party members, Republicans and Democrats, we managed to get a piece of legislation through both houses of the California legislature asking for Congress to repeal the unconstitutional parts of the Patriot Act. And the message I'm trying to relay with that is that when you work together with other groups who have common interests, you can accomplish things that by yourself you couldn't accomplish. Because the Green Party by themselves, the Libertarian Party by themselves, even the Muslims by themselves could not have accomplished what we did working together. So it's very key that in your local communities, if you can reach out to civil rights groups, to taxpayers groups, work with them, because if you do, I think you'll find that you will be much more successful. You'll feel the camaraderie and cooperation and teamwork with other organizations, and once they get to know you as a libertarian, they're going to be much more likely to work with you in the future, and we've got to stick together. You probably are familiar with the old phrase that surely if we do not hang together, we shall hang separately from Revolutionary War times. So it's very key that the Libertarian Party continue in its existence. That, of course, is all predicated on the support that we get from you fine folks. And with that, what I would like to do is turn over the rest of the time to Wes Benedict. Wes Benedict is our executive director, as he said. This guy literally is working 6 and 7 days a week, 12, 14 hours a day. It's not uncommon for me to call 6 p.m. West Coast time, 9 o'clock East Coast time, and I'll pick up the phone. This guy is working like a dog, and I'm very fortunate to have him as our executive director. In fact, he leads a team in the office. It's really a sharp team, and they've really been doing a great job, and we hope we can get your support and continue the fine work that we're doing and help us help you. So again, thanks very much for your attendance, and please pay attention to Wes Benedict. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you, Mark Hinkle, and thanks to everyone again for coming to FreedomFest. My name is Wes Benedict. I'm the Executive Director of the Libertarian Party and work out of our national headquarters in Washington, D.C. I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and then moved to Austin, Texas, went to the University of Texas to get a mechanical engineering degree. After that, I went to the University of Michigan and got an MBA at the University of Michigan. I worked at 3M Company as a manufacturing engineer and later at PricewaterhouseCoopers as a management consultant. After that, a couple friends and I bought a small manufacturing company that made kitchen countertops, showers, and tubs, something I had no knowledge about before getting into. We fixed that up for about 3 years and then sold it at a nice profit. And what that did was give me a little time and money on my hands. The first thing I did was, I had been a libertarian activist for a little while. It was just the perfect time to jump into a race for Austin City Council. I ran for Austin City Council. I didn't win, but I did get 35% in this race, and I was very pleased with that. It was a lot of fun. I got to go speak to a lot of organizations. A lot of people heard about the Libertarian Party, and I got my name out there as well just by running for office. So after selling that business and running for Austin City Council, still had a little time and money on my hands, and so I decided to drive to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, which is down near Cancun, Mexico.